Hey y'all, it's your girl Ohjessbehave and I am back with another video, and today we're doing something a little bit different. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this 6x6 wig, and y'all, this is my first time doing it on YouTube, but your girl be doing her own hair or whatever the case may be. So let's go ahead and get straight into the video. So the first thing I'm gonna do, well, I have like this bald cap, I just put some makeup on it. That's like pretty simple. You just want to take makeup and then put it, I'm just gonna put it in a small box over here. What I did, I put some makeup on it and then I go in with Eben. Basically what I do, I put it on the back of my hand like this, and I just go and do a really thin layer, and I do about 3 of those layers on my forehead, and I don't put it on my hair, and then I go on this band. So I don't cut it, y'all. This is how I do it, so don't judge me. But I'm gonna go on the band and I'm gonna put it around the band. But this is gonna be like a get ready with me chit chat type of vibe, so I can talk to y'all. So I think I'm gonna do like a little story time. This is the wig, and she's a long unit, 30-inch, a bust down for the baddest, period. But anyways, y'all, so let me tell you guys a quick story. But this is a 6x6, you guys. I do not put like full lace on all the time, only for like special occasions and stuff like that. And then yeah, I only put on full lace for special occasions. If I'm doing like an everyday type of vibe, I always do like 6x6 or 5x5. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is take some of the makeup and put it on the lace. But this is not a tutorial, this is just to get ready with me to chit chat. So yeah, anyway y'all, so let me tell y'all a quick story time. This happened around high school when I just graduated. And for some people, like, you graduate in June. I know in Miami, like, you graduate in June. So I was born in July, Cancer, period. But I was born in July, so I basically turned 18 after I graduated. So I had a homegirl at the time, and she was working at a hair salon. So when she was working at this hair salon, a guy walked into the hair salon, and he was like, you know, a white guy. He was a lawyer. He had like blonde hair, blue eyes type of eyes. I think brown hair, blue eyes, not brown. I mean, not blonde. But he had brown hair, blue eyes, and he walked into her salon, and he basically wanted a haircut or something. But it's like, it was like a black hair salon, like hair, like doing wigs, like hair, like weave, doing bonding, sewings, like that type of stuff. So she let him know, like, you know, we don't really do, you know, your type of hair. We can cut it, but this is like, we specialize in, you know, weave and stuff like that. So he was like, oh no, it's cool, I just need a quick cut, I'm going out. So my friend was like, okay, I'll do it for you. And mind you, this was her first client that was white and all of that. So she was nervous. So he's like, don't worry, I just need you to just trim it a little bit for me because I'm planning to go out. So they're talking and chit-chatting, y'all. I'm all the way at home, okay? So after she's done cutting the guy's hair, he basically is like, oh, how old are you? No, he didn't even ask how old she was. He basically was asking her, like, you know, about herself or whatever the case may be. Does she have a boyfriend? And she's like somebody who's into, you know, white guys and stuff like that. So she found him attractive. They found each other attractive. They're talking. And he's like, oh, you should come out with me tonight or whatever the case may be. And she was nervous. So she was like, okay, cool. I'd love to go out with you or whatever. Can I bring my friend? So back then, if you know, you know. When you're going out with a guy at first, you gonna call your homegirl like, girl, you wanna come with me because I'm nervous? Especially if it's like a culture shock like that, you're gonna invite your friend. Even if it's like, you know, a guy with some money and stuff like that, he wanna take you to the club, you can be like, oh, can I bring my homegirl or whatever, just so I could be comfortable because I know you're gonna have your boys with you. So that's what type of vibe it was. So he was like, oh yeah, you could bring your friend, you could bring your friend. Mind you, she didn't ask me. She basically told me, like, you have to come with me to this, you know, outing with this guy. So I'm like, girl, where we going? Because I never been out with, you know, a guy like that. Like, I'm used to the people in the hood. So she's like, okay, we have to go. So we go to the mall, y'all. We find us, like, you know, nice, cute outfits. we're looking up like mean girl type of stuff. Like, we're trying to dress a little bit different. We're not putting on our regular, like, you know, hood outing clothing. We're trying to look real good. So we're going to like boutiques and finding little dresses or whatever the case may be. So we found an outfit for both of us, and she does hair. So she was like, oh, I'll do your hair, baby. That's all I needed to know. So when she said, oh, I'll do your hair, I was ready. I was like, oh girl, I'm going with you. Let's go, let's go. So she basically was like, she's gonna do my hair for me. So when she said she's gonna do my hair, I was excited, y'all. And that was the first red flag. That's my problem right there. I shouldn't have been happy for that. So she's like, she's gonna do my hair or whatever, and I was just excited for the hairdo. So I was like, let's go, I'll go with you. So the clock turns to 8 o'clock, y'all. I tell my mom that I'm sleeping over in my friend's house. She had no idea where I was going. Cause at 17, you're not really telling your mom, hey, I met this lawyer guy and I'm gonna go out with him with my friend. Or, you know, my friend met a lawyer and I'm gonna tag along and be the third wheel. Like, now that I think about it, girl, you should have sat your behind at home. But I didn't, so it is what it is. So yeah, y'all. So the guy comes to pick us up, right? He picks us up. He's like, hey, what's his name? I don't even remember this man's name. I'm just gonna say Tom. He's like, hey, my name is Tom. How are you? Or whatever. And I'm like, you know, I'm good. I'm Jessica. And he's like, oh, you guys are really beautiful. I know we're gonna have fun or whatever the case may be. Y'all know me. I'm in La La Land. He comes to pick us up in a Benz. So I'm like, period. I'm getting picked up in a Benz by, you know, a lawyer. Like, period. I'm about to graduate high school. Life is pretty lit. Like, you know, the standard is high. I can't wait to tell all my friends in college, like, yeah, I'm going out with lawyers and stuff. Like, I'm gonna meet, you know, probably somebody my age wherever we go. That's how I'm thinking. And now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, both of us were turning 18 afterwards, like a few months afterwards, but he never asked our age. So we was just happy to go. So anyway, boom, boom, boom. We're in the car driving. He's driving like down south. So we live in Miami, so he's driving like, you know, south. So then he pulls up to this club. Mind y'all, back in the days, like, we would go to like the hood clubs. Like, there were clubs where it will be for overage people, but you could get in as a teen. If you were like popular, if you had an extra little $20 in your pocket, you could give it to the bouncer and you're getting in the club, you're dancing, having a good time. And there was also teen clubs and stuff like that. So we was going to like the hood stuff. All right, y'all. So I'm just gonna let this sit on my head for a little bit. I don't put like a band or nothing. Like, I don't feel like I need that stuff. So yeah, so back in the days, we would go to like the hood stuff or whatever the case may be. We didn't really go to like the real clubs. We went to hood events and even strip clubs and stuff like that. Back in the day, men used to go there and get in, but girls, like, we didn't really care to really go like that. Only when we got older for, like, you know, the free drinks and the vibes or whatever, because Miami's nightlife, like, everybody knows, like, it's pretty lit. But you could have gotten into the club at a younger age back then. So, which I don't recommend, because it's like, it's not the lifestyle for you. Like, if you're a girl, just be a girl, okay? Don't be grown. And I'm gonna go ahead and spray a little bit more and then put it on my hairline again. But yeah, y'all, so but yeah, so back then you can go to like the clubs or whatever and you can chill out, hang out. It was no stress, no worries or whatever. Like, it was just a vibe. But we never been out with, like, you know, an older guy before, especially like of that caliber. I'm gonna say like lawyer vibes, whatever, right? So we pull up to this club. And when we pull up to the club, it was like 30 minutes away from where my friend was staying. And I'm like, I never heard of this club before. So I didn't think anything of it. So the guy goes to the back of his trunk and he has like this huge green like glass jar. It looks like a type of elixir. Like, he specially mixed it up. So I watched too much true crime and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm not drinking that. So he was like, oh, you guys want something to drink? And we're like, no, we're good. And he's like, oh no, you sure you should have some? And I'm like, no, I'm good, I don't drink. So my friend, she's like, no, I'm good, because both of us are looking at each other like, girl. So before we even went out there, I took a picture of his tag, like when I was going into the car, because I was sitting in the back seat. So I went around, and then I basically took a picture of the tag, because I was just like, you know, this man, honey, I watched too much true crime. So I was kind of like on point at the time. So he went in his trunk, got the drink, and he was offering it to us, and we were like, no, we're good. So we walked into the club. The club literally had nobody in there. Like, there was nobody in it. It was just like, what is this place? So I did not know the club at all, but I remembered the name. So then he was like, oh no, we're gonna have to go somewhere else because this party isn't, you know, jumping, right? So we're like, okay, because we didn't want to be there. It was like dead, like, and we're used to like the hood music, like, you know, we ready to turn up and stuff like that. Show this man a good time, like how we turn up, y'all. So basically we're driving. So at that time, like, we're young, so I knew certain areas, but at the further we were going, I'm like, dang, this is kind of far. I feel like this man is taking me to Disney World or something, because I live in Miami. We were driving for about 40 minutes at this point. So we're driving. So my friend, me and her are texting. I'm like, girl, where is this man taking us? And it's already like going on 9 o'clock at night. So I'm like, girl, where is he taking us? Like, this is very far. So she's like, I'm gonna ask him. So she's like, oh, hey, like, where are we going? He was like, oh no, it's not that far. We're going up here, whatever the case may be. This is gonna be a good club. You guys are gonna like it. You guys are gonna like it. So we're like, okay. So another 20 minutes goes by and we're driving. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so scared. I need to start texting my cousins, and maybe, you know, I can't tell my mama because she gonna kill all of us. So I'm like, oh my God, I hope, you know, we're gonna be okay. I'm just scared at this point. I'm like, we gonna have to, I'm texting her like, girl, we gonna have to jump him. Like, I hope he don't have nothing in that trunk. Maybe, you know, the drink that he had was to knock us out or make us slizzard or whatever the case may be. So we're just texting back and forth and we're afraid. So I'm like, girl, ask him again, where are we going? So then we ask him again. She asked him again. He's like, grow up, like, we're going, we're almost there. So he just spazzed like out of nowhere, and I was like, oh my God, he's a murderer. Like, I was so scared, y'all. So we're basically driving and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm texting my cousins like, y'all, this the man tag number. When we stop, if you don't get a text message from me, call the authorities, like, because this man is literally like a creep. He's weird. From that, I was like, dang, I should just stay home. Like, I had things to go watch, Bad Girls Club. Like, I had so much things to watch on TV, my shows, and I just canceled all of my plans being at home to go be a tag along, a third wheel for my homegirl just for a free hairstyle. So I'm texting her like, girl, you should have never picked me to come with you. Like, cause she has a lot of other friends. Like, she used to be like the hairstylist of our school. So she had plenty of other friends. So I'm like, you should have picked somebody else for this. Next time I'm not going nowhere with you. Like, so she's like, oh my God, girl, we gonna have to jump him. I'm like, what if he has a knife or something? Girl, I can't jump nobody with a knife. He's crazy. So we're driving and driving and driving. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm looking at the exits. I'm like, you know what? Put your thinking cap on and look at the exits. Look at all of the exits and just look at all of the exits. So y'all, I'm gonna go in with these little squiggly scissors, and this is what I use. Like, it just gives, like, I don't even know if my hair is like completely in the middle, but whatever. So when I go in with this, it's just squiggly, so it just gives what it needs to give. Hold up, y'all, I gotta cut this. We gotta be quiet for a couple seconds. All right, y'all, so back to the story, because I had to like focus to kind of cut it. So back to the story. Okay, now I'm gonna take some Eben and put it again because I need it to melt into my hair. And whatever excess, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and take it off with some alcohol, but I'm not gonna do that yet. Yeah, so we end up driving, like we're far, so I'm looking at the signs and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, where are we going, where are we going, where are we going? So then I'm looking and I'm like, okay, I know this exit, and I'm like, dang, we all the way in Fort Lauderdale. And mind you, y'all, we are from North Miami, so that is a pretty far stretch. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I know where we are. And she's like, oh, I know where we are too, or whatever the case may be. So we're far, and I'm like, okay, I know, like I have an uncle that lives in the area. So we get off of the exit. Thankfully, the exit is near my uncle's house. So I'm like, okay, wherever we end up, if it's dangerous, I can just call my uncle and he'll come pick me up, right? So we pull up to this place, and it looks basically like a hole in the wall. So there's no super fancy lights, and there's like a tattoo shop next to it. So I'm like, if anything happens, and the tattoo shop was open because we saw like people were working in there. I'm like, okay, if anything happens, you know, we can just run into the tattoo shop and hide or whatever. Like, I'm just thinking, but we pull up to this club, right? While we pull up to the club, we see people walking in there, and they're like older people. We don't really see people like our age there. Usually the club has a nice little mix, like 20-year-olds, whatever. Everybody looks older, and the women, like their breasts are like hard, like they look freshly done, like lips plump. And this is back in the days, like when there wasn't so many BBLs and stuff like that. So everybody just looks done up and just, you know, pumped up and everything. So we're walking in, and me and my friend are just, we still don't realize where we are, okay? So we see people walking into the club, we see older people, so we're like, okay, this is just like an older crowd of people. And yeah, so this is coming from a 17-year-old. Now that I'm like in my 20s, you get what I'm saying? Like now it'll be normal, but us being like 17, about to be 18, we were expecting to see like, you know, really young 20s at that place at that time. So we were walking in, or whatever the case may be, and there's a big like bodyguard or whatever, bouncer, whatever you call him. He's asking us for ID. Sorry, y'all, I had to fix my shirt. But he's asking us for ID and stuff, and we're like, we don't have our IDs, because we know damn well we was not old enough, and we never went nowhere with no damn ID. That's how you keep it low key. If you ain't got no ID, baby, I'm 18, what's up? I'm old enough to eat in the club. So the guy pulls out a huge wad of money, and he gives the guy like $300. So the guy just lets us in, bloop. So when we're walking in, we notice like there's a curtain walking in. Like we're like, I've never been nowhere where there's like a curtain behind the door. Y'all, when the curtains opened, all I seen was flashing lights and naked people. So me and my homegirl, like, we just paused at the front of the door like, where are we, where are we, where are we? Y'all, the lights is flashing. Like, if you have like epilepsy or something like that, you would have definitely caught a seizure in there, because it would just blah, blah, blah. Like the lights would just flashing, flashing. All you see is booty, booty, booty. Like it was just crazy. So we're like at the, like literally standing there. So me and my friend, like, we're just frozen. We don't know what to do. We're young little kids, and things like that, I thought it didn't exist. I didn't know it existed. It wasn't a thing that crossed my mind. It wasn't something that I always considered. It wasn't something that I was brought privy to. Like, I came from watching That's So Raven and Disney Channel at that point. I was still watching Bad Girls Club and little stuff like that. Love and hip hop. Like, I never knew about this type of life. So when I saw all of those people in there doing stuff, I was like, and y'all, I'm a good girl. Like, I'm not into that type of stuff, and I did not grow up like that. I'm like, no, where am I? Like, we were so shocked. So as we're walking, because there's people behind us, like we're trying to look like to find a bathroom so that we could, like, you know, run and get away from this man, so that when we run out, he doesn't follow us. So she's like, oh my god, oh my god. I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all, it was crazy in there. Like, them people was doing stuff that I can't even explain to y'all on YouTube because it'll be crazy for me to even say what I seen. But those places exist. And I'm gonna tell you the name of the place. The place, I would never forget its name. It's called Trapeze, y'all. When we walked in there, because I remember the name, because I was like, I never heard of this club before. Like, never, ever have I heard of this club. Never. So yeah, y'all, so we go into the bathroom, and y'all, people are doing it everywhere. So at this point, we just like, we gotta get out of here. So like, as we were in there, I glimpsed so many things. Like, I was just so like shocked. They had like people carrying like, you know, those silver platters, and it had like on the platter, like, so the lady's walking around and she's like offering them. We're just like trying to like duck and dodge and not touch anybody because I didn't even want to touch a wall in there. I didn't want to touch a door. I didn't want to touch anything because it just was, I just felt like so uncomfortable. I couldn't believe where I was at. I'm like, who's gonna believe me? And who is gonna come get us? Because we had to find an escape plan. So when we seen that people were doing it in the bathroom, doing it on the counter, doing it everywhere, we basically were like, okay, we have to find an escape. We gotta go run to the tattoo shop. That's when my friend was like, there probably creeps at the tattoo shop too. And I'm like, well, we're gonna have to go creeping over there because I ain't see them doing that. The doors were clear and everything. So we're running out. So while I'm trying to hurry up and walk out, like not make a scene, because I don't want the guy to see us. So we're trying to find out where he is so that we can avoid him, so that he doesn't come follow us outside. Y'all, a lady comes and she's like, oh, they're calling you. I said, who's calling me? She's like, over there. Y'all, it was a couple calling me and I was a kid. I'm like, oh my God. So at that point, we just hurry up and darted out of there. So the security like, oh, where y'all going or whatever? We're like, we're leaving. So we run out and we go to the tattoo shop. Like, the door, when we pulled the door was locked. So we're knocking at the door. So the guy's doing the tattoo or whatever, and he comes and he opens, like he zaps the door open, and he's like, are you guys okay? And we're like, no, we're 17. And he was like, 17? Who brought you in there? Oh my God, like, do you guys want to call the police, your parents or whatever? And I'm like, no, we can't call police and we can't call our parents. Like, my mom would literally flip out. This will be, and I'm Haitian, so that would have been the talk of the family for years. Like, my mom was not going to be able to hold water. She was gonna, any argument, if you have Caribbean parents, you know, any argument, they're gonna bring up whatever you told them. Like, they're gonna be like, yeah, that's why you were at a swingers club and all this stuff, because you're so friendly and all of this stuff. So I'm like, no, I can't tell my mama. So we're sitting there and I'm like, I have an uncle who lives down the street. I know that when I come to his house, we get off of this exit, and I know he lives around here. So I'm like, I'm just gonna have to call my uncle. And if you know me, you know, like, my uncles and stuff, they have like a lot of respect for me. I have a lot of respect for them. Like, but if it's an emergency, I'm gonna call them before I call my mom, for sure. I know that I'm gonna be in trouble with them, but I'd rather be in trouble with them. I'll call my uncle. So he's like, hey baby girl, how you doing, or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, uncle, I need you to come get me. And he's like, where are you? I said, I'm by your house. I'm at a club by your house. So he's watching football with his friends and stuff. So he's like, there's no club by my house that you would be at or whatever. Like, what club is this? So his friend, like, he's watching football with his friends. So they're like, there's no club around here. The only club around here is Trapeze. So then my uncle's like, Jesse, like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm at the club that your friend said somebody brought us here. And he's like, oh, stay where you're at. Where are you? I said, I'm at the tattoo shop next to you. He said, I'm coming right now. I'm coming right now. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, my uncle's coming with his friends. And my uncles do not play about me. Like, so I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is gonna be crazy. So my uncles come in like 5 minutes. 5 minutes tops. My uncle come pulling into the parking lot, making his tires screech and everything pulled up. Who had my niece over here? She's 17 years old. Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So the guy, the bouncers go get the guy, and they're like, he brought them in here. So then the guys outside like, oh, come on, man, I didn't know how old they were. I thought they were of age. They told me they just graduated. Y'all, my uncle and his friends beat the guy up so bad. Like, we were literally like, oh my gosh, like we were so scared. We went in the car, like we were just afraid. I didn't want my uncle to get arrested. But then they didn't call police because now that I'm older, I realized we were underage at the time. Had they had called police, it would have been a big deal. So they just let my uncles beat the guy up, and we got in the car, y'all. I had to beg. My uncle was about to go knock on my friend's door to tell her mother where she was, and then he was gonna go tell my mom where I was. I had to beg him. Like, I literally cried. I was like, please don't tell my mom this. Like, we literally did not know that we were gonna end up here. And he was basically like, you have to understand like how disappointed I am with you. Like, anything could have happened to you. And when he explained it like that, I was like, dang, like that's so true, because we already thought he was a psychopath. So we were like sitting there like anything could have happened for real. Like, we could have, something bad could have happened to us. It could have been any other crazy person and we would have been messed up. So my advice to y'all is do not go out with any stranger. Drive your own car. If you're young watching this, y'all, be careful of who you're around, because things could have been, even though it was bad, it could have been 10 times worse. Something could have happened to us in the hands of that guy. We didn't know him from a can of paint. He was driving hella far and we just were scared. Once he yelled at us, we just shut up and just froze. So my advice to y'all is just to like really chill out. But in conclusion, y'all, my uncle had me babysit his kids for free for like, I'm gonna say 6 months. My mom was like, dang, why you always babysit? You must be making a lot of money, because he used to pay me when I used to babysit like $50, and back then that was a lot. Y'all, I was doing it for free for like 6 months. Like, he would call like, hey, I need a babysitter. I was just like, okay, I'm coming. Just so that he wouldn't tell my mom. Like, he held it over my head for so long. And now that I'm like an adult and we talk about it, it's just a funny story. But he's like, you don't understand. Like, it was crazy. His friend even was like, I can't even get in the trapeze. How the hell y'all got in there? He was, and we were just like, you're dirty. Like, ew. And now that I like, you know, I looked it up to see the place, and I'm like, ew, like, no judgment. You know, everybody's into their own thing. Married couples do what they want to do, but I'm just like, why would he want us young girls? Like, and we looked 17. Like, you know, back then 17 is not like 17 now. We were 17. We looked a mess. Like, we looked like little kids. We did not look grown at all. Now that I'm thinking about it, we didn't look grown. We looked fresh about like the Similac. Like, we looked very, very young. So he was wrong for that. But I never seen that man again. I never seen him again. Never seen him again. Never heard from him again. Barely even talk about it. It was traumatizing. Like, I would never forget that experience. And it's gonna cause me, like, when I have kids and stuff like that, I want to know where they're at, who they're with. I'm gonna talk to them about, like, you know, tagging along with their friends and stuff like that, because back in the day, if you know, you know, if your friend's going out on a date with some guys or whatever and they have money, you're gonna go along with your friends. So my best advice is to like drive your own car. Like, don't just hop in these people's car. If you're too young to drive your own car, girl, stay home, because it could get really dangerous really quickly. That's basically the end of the story. We basically just didn't go out with other, like, we didn't tag along with each other. We went on other dates, of course, but it was like people like in our community, like where we grew up and stuff like that. We didn't tag along with any random people. And every time we brought it up, I was like, girl, like, I can't believe you tagged me along. Next time, invite your other friends to this stuff. And she was just like, I did not know he was that crazy. I'm like, I should have been at that salon, y'all. I could read, like, I could look at somebody and know what they're about. If had I been there, I wouldn't have went. I was like, girl, that man look a little off, honey, because why would he be interested in you and he's a lawyer? And the reason why I say that is because we were like hood babies. Like, we had like like, you know, those stiff like spritz and roller sets. Like, we looked really, like, we did not look like his demographic at all. Like, we did not look like his type. He was not gonna take us home. This man had a suit on and everything, and we had on rainbow clothes. And not even rainbow right now, I'm talking back in the day, rainbow type of outfits. Like, it just didn't mix. I just can't believe that we didn't think ahead. Like, now that I'm this age now, I would have been like, girl, I'm going out with that man, you lost your mind. But it was crazy. It was crazy, and it was just a mess. But I'm gonna take some makeup. And I'm just gonna put it on the lace a little bit. Just to kind of blend it. Anyways, y'all, the guy was a freaking nut job. Like, they beat him up and we would talk about it and we'd just be like, girl, you remember when we went out with that guy? Like, he was a weirdo. Like, he was crazy. And I would do edges, y'all, but when I first put on my wigs, I kind of do like the no edges look. That way when I start getting old, I can put some edges on it, but I think it looks fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and just fix my part up a little bit. I'm just gonna take this just a little bit because I don't want my hair to be super duper like oily and waxy. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and hot comb it. So I'm doing it so like that little hump. Do y'all know what hump I'm talking about? When girls have like that one side higher than the other. So I always do this because that's like one of my wig pet peeves. I hate to see that. So I don't want to be that girl. And I can't get it that flat because I obviously have braids in my hair and my braids are pretty big. But it is what it is. Okay, so I think that's good, right? I'm gonna just go in and press the hair down. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with this extra hold spray by GRWM, and I'm gonna just put it at the top. And I'm just gonna lightly like tap it. Y'all, there's a method to my madness. This gonna give like laid, you know what I mean? So boom. And now I'm gonna go in the front. I'm gonna take a little bit of this. So I just took a little bit of that spray, y'all, and I just put it right here. That's gonna kind of like cause this to stay how I want it. I'm gonna go in and just push that, and while it dries down, it's just gonna create that little waterfall vibe. All right, y'all, so right now it's approximately 12. It's time for me to go. So this is pretty much the final look. I'm gonna leave it like this, and I'll probably crimp it in a couple of days. I don't know yet, but be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and let me know if you guys want me to do more of these types of videos and if you like my hair. But I'm gonna see you guys next time. Love y'all. Bye.